Episode Deuce.
Diving it. Diving it. Diving it. Diving it.
What do you think it's called? Diving
it. Diving it. Diving it. Diving it. Diving it.
Here we gizzo with the blizzo. Best one yet. What it do? Default Gistas. Episode 22, Season 2, Diving for Glory. Your host, Pep Course. Yo, look. My man, Sir Solomon, what it do?
What's good?
Chilling, man. This week, we got some awesome games, man. Chelsea and Arsenal fighting for that fourth place spot. We got Napoli and Lazio. We got Dortmund and Leipzig. And then we got Betis doing some last minute things against Girona. But we also going to hit you with all 5 league reviews as they are all back in action finally, and hit you with our prestigious and egregious D4G award section. Diving for Glory, man. Post every Monday on iTunes, YouTube, and divingforglory.com. Also hitting you with those Thursday episodes following Champions League weeks. That's about 3 weeks away. And you can find us on Twitter and Facebook at Diving for Glory. Follow, hashtag, subscribe, like, retweet, do all that, man. Don't forget iTunes 5 stars, or 2 stars, or 3 stars, or whatever it is, man. However you feeling. Faux show. Yeah, man. Just a cup, jersey tuck, boots lace, Diving for Glory. Let's go. Yeah. So, we're going to get right into it. And that would bring us to the Emirates. Arsenal hosting Chelsea, man. Arsenal on a little bit of a coming off a loss to West Ham. And Chelsea not playing the greatest either. Man, top 4 battles. Talk about it, Sir Solomon.
Our team was good forwards, but really doesn't know what the fuck to do around them against a team that has one really world-class player up front and nobody else that scores in Chelsea. And in this game, Sarri introduced Hazard as the false 9 again, and with Willian and Pedro flanking him, and without them being effective on the outside, the false 9 is just a way of marking your own guy out of the way. And Hazard also performed like shit. So after a couple of goals in the first half, Arsenal just shut it down and took the 2-0.
Definitely. You would have asked a lot of people before this game, hey, which coach would you rather have? Sarri or Emery? And a lot of people would have told you Sarri. But Sarri is come out after the game, said a lot of, I don't know what you want to say, flagrant things or inflammatory.
First of all, Arsenal playing with a back 4 and playing with a number 10 and Aaron Ramsey really helped them. Who would have thought it? But the unpredictability of Unai Emery proved useful this time because Chelsea had no idea what Arsenal was going to do, mostly because usually Arsenal has no idea what the fuck Arsenal is going to do. Mm-hmm. So playing with the back 4 and with Aaron Ramsey behind the 2 strikers really helped the flow of the game, and it showed with Lacazette's running and like his nice goal. He said it like he scored a wicked goal. Lauren Koscielny gets a header, but in the first half, Chelsea had 0 shots on target. Even like if you compare expected goals, Arsenal had like 5 expected goals in the first half, and Chelsea had like 0.2 or something. And
Not even a shot on target until the 82nd minute, I
yeah.
believe.
So when you're away, and the home team actually gave them a lot of the ball over the course of the game. Chelsea had 65% of the ball as the away team, but it was very ineffective. It was backwards passing. Their playmakers, David Luiz, who's just a defender that can't concentrate for 90 minutes. So
the a lot of things take a little bit of evaluation when you're looking at the Premier League or soccer matches in general, but it has become quite clear that Maurizio Sarri is very inflexible, and we talk about, hey, maybe there's something to trotting out the same team every week, but he trots out the same team every week and in the same exact formation with the same basic game plan. Is this true?
It is true, and multiple players looking like they have dead leg is not the game after which you're supposed to come out and talk that noise like motivational issues and stuff. Jorginho has looked tired for about a month. Like, forget that other teams have even figured him out. Just from his effort levels, like he's a step slower than he was at the beginning of the season. Hazard hasn't had a good game in a while. Like, it's not helping, Like, then the guy they got from Real Madrid, Kovacic.
Mm-hmm.
How is he an automatic starter? Why is he an automatic starter? What is he doing to deserve this spot?
I don't know. You tell me.
Nothing. Like, he's just a guy. Like, he just gets plugged into that spot, and that's it.
Yep. Is there a roster issue? Is there a depth issue here? In your opinion?
I think there's somewhat of a depth issue, but I think that you can play like Giroud in certain scenarios and just like play Hazard out on the wings like he's supposed to. Or also like, why is Callum Hudson-Odoi never playing?
So two things I think you and I talked about before while this match was going on or whatnot. Like, I think, in my opinion, you start a 9 no matter what, because you're upsetting the balance of your whole team in a way by always putting Hazard up as this false 9. I mean, start him just for the fuck of putting Hazard in his most effective position. And the other thing to the inflexibility of the lineup, or the formation, is Conte. 2-time player of the year, 2-time league champion, isn't playing the position that he just won the fucking World Cup playing.
Yes.
I mean,
it makes no sense at all, especially you can, if you want to play Jorginho back, first of all, you have to come to the conclusion early that the English league and the Italian league are not the same. Like, if you're going to be an international manager and leave Italy, you have to have different approaches. For example, when he played a false 9 in Dries Mertens at Napoli, it was because Higuain had left. It was because Milik, who they had brought, had injured his knee early in the season and they didn't have anybody available. So he moved him into that position. And because of also the play of Lorenzo Insigne and Callejon on the outside, he got a lot of play. And it worked out. But it didn't work out to championship levels, first of all. Secondly, they had a threesome that were scoring like at a high level. You have a false 9 with only one guy creating, 2 has-beens that were never like consistent, but like, like Willian and Pedro on the outside, never switching it out. They're not getting any better. Like, why don't you play somebody like Hudson-Odoi, who you're getting a £40 million bid for from Bayern Munich? Like, put him in the game. Conte, play him as part of a double pivot, move him back. Like, he is so low on the list of interceptions that, like, which was a statistic that he owned. Like, he was a player on the levels of like Claude Makelele and stuff in terms of historic numbers, in terms of interceptions, tackles won. He was the man, and like now he's just a guy.
Yeah,
he's just another fucking guy.
I'm checking their roster out. I totally forgot Victor Moses was even on the team. I mean, you almost just have to like just switch it up some. Like, you got to do something, man.
I get why he doesn't play Victor Moses.
I mean, I get it too.
Yeah.
But switch it up. Do something. One of the ESPN Nichols, I believe, on ESPN said, dude, if you can't motivate these players, like, resign. Like, what is your job?
That's how I see it when like you make multiple accusations. And I think that this is a man who has got a job that is above his pay scale. I think that being a coach of Napoli and sneaking up on Juventus and still being comfortably beaten for the championship does not. Chelsea wins the title like on average every other year. Like they're one of the most dominant teams out there, and to bring this guy who has no expectations of competing at that level shows what their ambitions are. But I think that the more he does this agitation, if you look on Twitter and all the social media, Chelsea fans are very, very, very agitated right now. And I do not see this guy lasting. And I think he's a mistake, and he's going to have to go, because this is not a gadget play level team. Like, this is a big team. You need to.
It's the team that opened up 9-0, I believe, and there was a lot. Like, I remember there were headlines. The Premier League should be worried about sorry ball, and like it's looking quite sorry, and not with the A.
Yeah.
Let's flip. Go ahead.
And even Jorginho, everybody's focused on how bad he's been lately and how his passes are not forward passes. But there are not forward players around him with which to make the pass. Even again, him at Napoli, he had Marek Hamsik, he had Allen, he had other players. Even the forward line we talked about earlier, they come back and the interchange was good. So he's effective as a short pass and long pass, just a pass master when he has talent around him. When it's him with Kante and Kovacic, and then with Pedro and Willian, and then the fullbacks don't do any fucking thing either. Like, what is he supposed to do? He passes it to the person he sees, and if the guy there is a shit player, that's not his fault.
Let's flip it on the other side. Emery here, under much criticism, and all of a sudden, they're, again, 22-game win streak. Oh, we're past Arsene. Oh, we made the right decision, and then a few losses later, it's like, holy shit. This guy is questionable. This guy, he can't fix us in 6 months. There's no real team identity. But, man, he comes out, he's beat Tottenham 4-2. He got a draw with Liverpool, 2-0 over Chelsea. What do you think?
I think that even during the game, a lot of people were commenting how Chelsea were creating nothing against a defense that looked like it was very shaky the whole fucking time. And this game said more about where Chelsea is in this current moment than Arsenal, because all around it, Arsenal has been playing shit football. Like this game, like lately. And even in this game, they gave them a lot of possession. Chelsea just didn't use it properly because they didn't have it. Like when you give up 65% of the ball at home, and you're Arsenal.
Your Arsenal has floored by that stat.
Yeah, like you didn't even put out a team that's supposed to hold the ball. Like if you look at it, you only have like 3 players that play football.
Yeah,
and 2 of them are like counter-attack threats. Like it's not.
This team was to sit back.
Yeah, so it says a lot more about Chelsea, because like that back four was shaky the whole time.
Has the Bellerin injury been confirmed? Is it ACL?
I don't know if it's been
like it.
Absolutely confirmed, but that's going to be a huge miss. He might. I would say he was their best player. Even though he sucks, like on the market, he'd be the person that could make the most money for Arsenal.
You think? Yeah. Even over Aubameyang or Lacazette?
Aubameyang is 90.
Yeah, he's old. He's like almost 30.
Lacazette is fine, but like he's worth what they got him for. Like if you have Bellerin, I don't know if he gets injured again, but under contract for a longer period of time, and as it's a very. How many right backs do you see?
Oh, I know.
Right back and left back. Like if you're above average, like that's you try to keep them. That's why the prices go really high too. You can go and get a lot of Lacazettes. You want to be able to find a lot of Aubameyangs, but he's old. But
so the one question I had for my Arsenal informant basically said outside of the front, the talent level is just low for the rest of the team in Arsenal. Do you agree with that statement?
Yes. The talent level is low, and there's redundancies too. So
my question for him though was, if you're not gonna play Ozil, and you're not gonna re-sign Ramsey, what the fuck are you gonna do next year for creativity in your midfield?
I think even currently, I would say over the January transfer window, I wouldn't be surprised before it ends if they do get a midfielder. And even going forward, they'll be making more of those purchases. But like, he does not need a traditional 10 regularly because his style of football usually doesn't. He just wants a deeper lying person. He played it against Chelsea. I don't know if it was what you would call effective because Chelsea pretty much had most of the ball the whole game.
What does the future look like if that's his? If
not good.
What is he
They're going to
turn
be
into?
an aggressively average team, like which is what he was at Sevilla, which is what he was at Valencia.
I think,
like,
he's a caretaker. I think he's a caretaker
Yeah.
coach.
Yeah, you just keep him there. You're gonna buy this second tier kind of guys and finish in like where they are now. And in a couple of years, when everybody goes nuts, they might try to make a couple of bigger name coach.
My Arsenal informant's totally like, no, he has talent. I'm like, based on what, man? Anyway.
I really hope that like Thierry Henry or Patrick Vieira or one of these guys that's in coaching currently becomes really successful and has a lot of cachet so that they can come back and try to fix it because it needs that kind of...
Is Vieira is he back
Nice.
in France? He's back in France.
OGC.
'Cause he was in MLS, right?
He's back in France and already kicked Balotelli off his team.
Nice. Damn it. So the ramifications of that game were absolutely huge for Arsenal as they were threatened to fall into sixth place. And, the gap between them and Chelsea get larger. They narrowed that gap. They're 3 points behind Chelsea. They're tied on points with Man United. That race for the last Champions League spot is tightening like Nat Booty. Who's your man of the match in this game?
I'd say Lacazette. That goal was beautiful and it started the game off and kind of... That was it.
No doubt. Last question, do you consider Tottenham in that, susceptible in third place, or do you feel like they're kind of firmly entrenched? They're 4 points up on Chelsea.
Okay, I will. We'll get into this again on the Tottenham game, but like this, what happened when the Tottenham went behind in their game? I thought that they were going to fall into this fourth place fight, but now it seems like they still will because during that game they also had Dele Alli injured, so they don't have Son, Kane, and Dele Alli. So I don't know how
Mora's out too.
Yeah.
They're struggling.
So I don't know how they're gonna do, but it seems for right now they're on an island by themselves.
Maybe
the
Pacho.
1 and 2 are doing their thing, 4, 5, and 6 are doing their thing, and Tottenham is safely in third place for right now.
Maybe Pacho suit up himself. maybe Levy will be like, you should suit up.
This Manchester United run though should really worry Spurs.
Should worry people, man.
Because if it's like they finish in a Champions League spot, for example, or even, I don't know, finish the season off strong, like that Manchester United is 1 year away from going back, and Pochettino knowing that and seeing how it's much less of how you can be so far back if you're Manchester United, but if you just switch a couple of things, you have so much talent that you can cash the pack. Mm-hmm. Whereas at Tottenham, he has to work so hard for every single point. At some point, he's going to turn his head.
Oh, it's turned. And we're going to turn our heads to La Liga and have a very interesting game there between Real Betis and Girona. We thought about looking at the Real Madrid-Sevilla match, but just like whatever. And I'm kind of tired of talking about Real Madrid, and Betis has been playing well as of late. And this was a fun game. Yeah,
we decided to go to the city of Seville and find the team that actually won. And it was not Sevilla. But Betis Girona was an awesome experience, like watching it. To begin with, Christian Teo, ex of Barcelona, starts the game off with a spectacular free kick to set Betis off 1-0. And then a couple of fuck-ups by their own defense, which has been their weakness for Betis, leads Alex Garcia and Seydou Doumbia to get a couple of goals. And Girona actually, against what expectations were, went in to have 2-1 up.
This is at half.
Yes, 2-1 up at half, away to Betis. And they come back, and Betis is balling. And Quique Setien's style of football is so exciting. If you get any opportunity, I highly recommend you watch Betis play. They are in the Europa Cup, so a lot of people would be more likely to see them there. But Loren Moron, yeah, proved not to be one when what do you call it?
Canales.
Sergio Canales, who much later is going to be the man of this match, decides to give him a wicked assist, and Moron places it nice. 2-2, 54th minute, still ball out. Both teams have a lot of chances, but in the 93rd minute, Betis get a PK. Sergio Canales slaps that home. 3-2 win.
It's a legit foul? Legit PK?
Yeah. It was a boneheaded move.
Yeah, that's 94th minute?
93rd minute foul. Yeah, 94th minute. He sent him the wrong way. And Sergio Canales, 3-2.
No doubt. Important points for Real Betis.
Indeed. And they are outside of the Real Madrid game. They've been in a pretty good form, and they move up to 7th place.
Yes, creeping on that Europa spot, but Getafe has been playing well themselves.
No, they're not going to fall, as we will see in a bit, but watch out for Alaves, who is suffering from altitude sickness from being too close to the summit.
Girona just up and down all season here.
Yeah, they've been that way, but 11th place finish on a team that was just basically recreated a few years ago, just market players and shit, is not a bad thing.
True that. And a lot of city loanies here.
Yeah.
I read an article I always read articles about Douglas Luiz possibly being the replacement for Fernandinho, and then they went on to say all the ways that he wasn't capable of being this replacement, and he put up a wonderful SOFA score of 4.4 as a substitute in this game.
No.
Whoops. No, there is there's not many people that are going to be able to do all the different things that Fernandinho can do. But anyway,
and they're not playing in Girona or Betis.
Agreed.
But if you wanted to pick a guy from that matchup that would kind of give you some sort of imitation of Fernandinho, it would be William Carvalho from Betis, who sits in front of the defense well and does it, but he's slower than Fernandinho.
I brought up Luis because he's a city loanee.
I know this.
Okay. Cool. Word up. As I mentioned before, though, the 7th place for Betis and Girona sit 11th. Well, safe. Well, no, they are only 4 points clear of relegation. Relegation gets a little tighter in La Liga.
Check this out. Betis is in 7th. Girona is in 11th. Betis have 25 goals scored, 25 goals conceded. Girona have 23 goals scored, 26 goals conceded. So, for conceding one more goal and not scoring, and scoring 2 less goals, they're 5 points behind them.
Yep. That's how it goes. Word up. Moving along to Serie A. The last game of Sunday was Napoli hosting Lazio. Again, Napoli trying to keep pace with Juventus, who are playing today. And they do their thing here. Do they not?
They very much do. They come out and dominate the first half and basically put the tie to sleep. Lazio scores a goal to cut the lead after they had gone into half at 2-0. They make it. Ciro Immobile makes it 2-1, but then they immediately get a red card, so kind of a secure 2-1 victory.
So
60% possession in the first half, and I don't know, they just kill them.
What does Napoli need to do here, if anything? Do they need to make moves in the transfer window? Do they have
to do what?
I don't know, man. What can they do? Nothing.
Exactly.
Is there no?
Just keep doing what you're doing and hope that Juventus guys get like a virus that spreads. But like they don't like budget wise and in any way like they're you're just going up against a team that's beyond historic and the most dominant club in Italy just brought one of the most dominant players ever. And what is Napoli gonna fucking do? Like other than like try to find an old video of Maradona and cry and masturbate to that. That's all they can do.
What about Lazio here? Still just fourth place hopes, Champions League aspirations.
They're trying to, they will be in the fighting for it, but I think that Roma's form currently is nice. AC Milan looks like they're kind of getting their act together, so if Lazio doesn't fix their shit quickly, they're gonna drop.
What about SMS? This hot thing on the market last year. He didn't move.
I think he still is a hot prospect on the market.
Yeah, I didn't mean a hot thing, but
like I said, prospect.
I know you paused.
I corrected. But as with everybody, the more we see somebody, the less enamored you are. You know, you get used to their abilities and you start noticing what they can't do. But Sergio Milinkovic-Savic is on a team that has basically a salary cap that they don't pass. And
you think he's a guaranteed move this summer? I think they got to move him this time.
I think so.
Yeah, get that money, son. Get that money.
I think so. There was actually a rumor that they're already like this window he might end up in AC Milan.
Really?
Yeah, like those loans to buy. Huh?
You don't think he moves the Premier League?
I don't know. I'm just telling you the rumor. I don't know if he'll necessarily move to the Premier League. A lot of guys that live in Italy tend to move to one of the bigger clubs in Italy. You know, so we'll see what happens. But if he's in any way mobile, I think there's going to be a huge bidding war.
Okay. Man of the match?
Man of the match, I want to give to Mr. Milik for the wonderful goal he scored. Arkadiusz.
It was nice. Yeah. It was nice. But moving along. Moving along to Bundesliga and Leipzig hosting league leaders Dortmund in the return of German football. I swear they've been off forever. Must be nice to have a month off.
Leipzig wish they had a month and a week off because it is not. They hosted Dortmund in what we described earlier as one of the most hated rivalries in all of Germany because of how Leipzig have come up. And
RB had their chances in this game.
They did. They had a lot of chances in this game, but if you looked at this was a game of two teams that are close in ability, and it took a spectacular goal to end it, and that's what Axel Witzel's goal was.
Very nice.
It was a beautiful goal, but like it seemed like nothing that was going to go in that day. Because he scored it early, and watching it, I thought that RB would get chances. But first off, they did not come out in their traditional vertical team.
Lucien Favre is proving to be the anti Maurizio Sarri.
Yes. First off, yeah. But what I'm saying is like even Red Bull.
Oh, Red Bull. Sorry.
Did not put out their traditional. You remember, like last season, they would play a 4-2-2-2. That was very narrow, but they had a lot of wing play and like they played a 4-1-4-1 that was kind of spread out and
totally just to defend Dortmund or stifle them, which they did.
You can't play that narrow when their main skills are from the wings, but. It has to be noted here that Dortmund won only 1-0, but they did not have Marco Reus in this game.
Do you think that was the reason for the formation change on their end?
I think that Lucien Favre just really changes formations and wants to look at various ways to play his team. Maximilian Philipp has not been in good form, so if you play him as the striker, you have to bring in Mario Götze or somebody like, and Mario Götze is the best in terms of moving in between those lines that they have. So he's been in good form. It was, I don't know, for two very offensive teams, it ended up being kind of a defensive game.
There was a lot of chances in the game. Not a lot, but I mean, it was still a little more active than 1-0 would. Led on, Paco Allister missed the goal near the end, or I mean, so close, like it hit off the top of the crossbar and bounced on the line. But man, they got all 3 points, and that was important.
Yeah. I think I didn't understand why Maximilian Phillips started over Paco Alcacer, because in a game you don't have Royce. Maximilian Phillips this season has not been that good. So bringing in Paco Alcacer with Mario Götze and who's the guy? Jacob Ruud-Lansert flanking him would have made sense, but like you said, Lucien Favre probably thought that, they would know I'm going to do that, so let me try something different, and it worked.
Man of the match.
Axel Witsel.
He's a baller, man.
He's a big-time baller, and you want to talk about replacements for Fernandinho, I give you Axel Witsel.
I'll take him. I'll take him, actually, man, because he provides the physicality.
That's what I'm saying. Like, he gets stuck in, and he can play football.
And go forward, yep.
Yeah.
Yep. I like that, man. I'm going to have to holler at Pep.
Be like, yo, get yourself an Axel.
Yeah, Axel Foley, son. Word up, man. That's our big games. We're going to move on to the midfield.
Hasta la vista, baby. Hasta la vista, baby.
Yeah. Midfield. Got a lot of games to cover here. Bring it back to you. We'll no longer be covering every single game in the Premier League. Actually, I'm lying. I meant in La Liga. Premier League, though, we're going to hit you up. So, started off how we started off the weekend with an amazing, super fun game. Wolves, Leicester City, which for some reason, Rebecca, fine. I love you, Rebecca. I love Rebecca Lowe. God, I love Rebecca Lowe. Anyway, she was like, maybe this game wasn't the game we would be expecting. I'm like, this is totally the type of game that you would expect from these two teams, no?
I never expect a 4-3 game.
Okay, that's fair. But just like these are loose teams in the back, and teams that score on the counter and hit you on breaks.
On Twitter, I saw a couple of people like on these pick'em things picked Wolves as a 2-1 winner, and I thought that was a good. Like I thought that was kind of what I expected, and it was kind of right because Wolves won by 1 goal.
For sure. Crazy game though, like a lot of back and forth. Wolves went up 2-0 at half.
A lot of West, what's his face?
Captain Morgan.
Yes, West fucking Morgan.
Looked like he was drinking some Captain Morgan.
Yes, and he also looks like he's about 46 years old, which I think he's 34 or 35, but
yeah,
he should not be in the Premier League squad. And people will counter this with, but he scored. Yes, he also gave up 2 goals in hilarious manner, and kind of fouled on that goal too.
Yeah, absolutely. Under fire, Leicester coach Claude
which it has to be said, I have no clue why he's under fire.
The fans have.
They are one spot out of the ceiling.
Agreed.
If they move up, they're in 7th. You cannot go any further than 7th, like this season.
No, not at all.
So, like, what are they, like...
What do they expect? No. I mean, you win a title, things change.
Okay.
You know, even though they fought relegation the following year, and it's not like they went out and, like, made some major signings in light of losing your best fucking player.
Yeah,
so it's kind of...
Their best 2 players.
Amazing. Yeah, and your owner.
Oh.
Fucked up. R.I.P. son.
I guess they went out with a bang.
No, I could go even worse, but I'm not. Yeah, man, Wolves get all 3 points on a last second. I want to say it was Ruben Neves that gave the outlet ball here. Oh, man.
It was to Diogo.
No, not the pass, not the assist, but the pass to
Okay.
the outlet pass, the key pass. Oh, my. It was a beauty. It was a beauty of a pass, and then he hit, and then whoever that was hit off Diago.
Indeed.
All 3 points, though, man, like you said.
Yeah, offense was nice for Wolves. They're coming together. Teams that played them early and brushed them aside, they better kind of look out because
Wolves 8th, Leicester 9th. 1 point separates them. It wasn't even a battle for much outside of that positioning.
but just the enthusiasm with which it was played just reminded you of a lot of like old school football. It wasn't like, and that was awesome. To Raul Jimenez, that's who Ruben Neves gave the ball to, and Raul Jimenez got it to Diogo Jota.
Yeah, man, beautiful pass.
But Ruben Neves also did have
The other, he had
another
another
assist,
wonderful assist.
and Jean Moutinho also had 2 assists. So Diogo Jota, big up because he got a hat trick.
Wolves, man, doing the thing. Moving along, as you said earlier, the Manchester United run continues. They are at home to Brighton and Hove, and they take that 2-1. Would have liked to have that clean sheet, but take all 3 points. That's 7 in a row, 6 in a row in Premier League.
Yes.
Wonderful goal by Rashford, man.
Well, Rashford's goal was spectacular, but they
Crossed them over.
seem like goalkeeper aside, like they're still a very easy to get opportunities against team. Like Brighton and Hove, Cardiff City, like these teams always do still score against Manchester United. So that's kind of a little worrying, but this was a makeshift defense that they put out, and big up Victor Lindelof, who week after week is looking better and better.
Week after week, for sure. I'm sure Mourinho will be in the news soon enough taking credit for that signing, as he has been on a rehab tour.
Which sounds terrible. Like, he was asked a question about something and he just went about it. Like, this is a guy that we used to talk about, if you don't win one season, then fire me. I'm like, I consider it a failure. Now he's like, it's not just about the winning and the results. I'm talking about, like, building for the future. I'm like, ain't nobody in the world hired you for no future.
Never.
You fucking bitch.
Ever. That was not your thing. Ain't going to be. Moving along, though, real quick, that puts Manchester United still in 6th, but they are even on points with Arsenal. They are creeping on that goal difference as well. And Brighton and Hove still nice and secure in 13th. Moving along, next game is another 4-3 game, which is another doozy, fun game, man. Liverpool hosting Crystal Palace.
Wilfred Zaha, and in kind of a distant second place, Andros Townsend basically went against Liverpool, and Liverpool's best weapons against those guys was Crystal Palace's own defense. It was amateur. It was hilarious. Like, there was no way they were going to walk out of that game with the points, like the way they played defense. And big up to Liverpool because they got tested. They were put down 2-1 after getting ahead early. But they came back. They did the business, but the Crystal Palace defense should be embarrassed with themselves.
Now, they went up 2-1. They were down 1-0 at half, and then they hit them quick.
Oh, sorry.
And went up 2-1. But, I mean, like you said, like crazy. The Salah goal was off a Virgil van Dijk deflection. The Roberto Firmino goal took a deflection. They got equaled up by Tompkins. And then the second Salah goal was a mistake by the keeper.
Basically.
And really the most legit one was the Mane goal, which was a cool finish.
A gram of luck is better than a ton of talent sometimes.
It really starts to look like, the
Yeah,
titles.
the
titles
stardust
inevitable.
sprinkled on you sometimes when the longer in the season it goes and the more you see these kind of things.
The Everton game and shit. For sure. Ugh. But there's a long way to go until we start talking like things are done.
Yeah, it's good Trent Alexander-Arnold seems to be back because his replacement in right back for the game, Mr. James Milner.
Oh, man. He
Sent
was
off.
wild. He was
Sent
wild
off.
for the night.
Tough. One. He was not boring in this game.
No, not at all. I am actually in a pick'em, in a free pick'em, and you just pick one team, and then you can't pick them again, and then you get the goal difference point. And I picked Newcastle this week. Whew.
Oh, look at you picking the team that playing against Cardiff.
What? But I got points off Newcastle. Shit, I got 6 points off Newcastle. Newcastle came out though, did the thing,
Picked them on the week. You should have picked Newcastle.
Damn right. Strategy, man. Strategy.
Next time you pick them, it's going to be the Huddersfield game.
Hey, I know how to do this. But yeah, Newcastle got all 3 points here, man. Very important for them battling another relegation threatened team.
Yeah. Did their thing. Yeah, they're going to make it difficult, but they're not going to go down.
Okay. 2 points clear in 17th, and Cardiff now sitting in the relegation zone with 19 points.
2 points clear of essentially only a one-team relegation battle, though.
That's how you look at
it. I mean, a one spot. I think that Fulham and Huddersfield are Fulham is currently 7 points out.
Damn,
and that's the second from bottom. Huddersfield is 10 points from safety.
Yeah,
They're done. Fulham is 7 points from safety. Do you see the Fulham defense allowing them to make any stand this season? No, it's going to be a learning curve season, and they're going to go back. So now Cardiff needs to start fucking scoring. And Newcastle too. Both teams have only 19 goals.
I like Ranieri, man. I was hoping he could give them a boost, but really tough when you defend like they defend. Bournemouth hosting West Ham. Arnautovic subject to huge China rumors. Not in this squad at all, even though West Ham maintained that he is not for sale. And they took a L.
To one beautiful goal. Mm-hmm. And then the second one was fine too, but
up and down West Ham.
Yeah.
I heard a rumor. Andy Carroll to Tottenham. Wow. So you can sit him on your bench? So you can add. We need to add to our injured players.
Yeah, basically.
We'd like to sign an injured player. That trips me out, man. Bournemouth, though, sit 12th, 30 points. And West Ham sit 10th with 31. The middle of the table's super tight, man, up until 6th. Moving along, Southampton. Moving up and out of the relegation zone, not maybe as mystifying as West Ham. Or I think more mystifying than West Ham, excuse me, is Everton. They'll fucking show up and put 5 on you, and then they'll show up and lose to Southampton.
Surprisingly, this is a lot of people picked Southampton to get the result. They've been on a good run of form, and Everton away is kind of, they shit the bed a lot. So even the one that they got is a 91st minute consolation goal. They scored on themselves. I have been singing the praises of Luca Digne for a while since he came to Everton. This game, he fucked him. He had an own goal. And it was a 0-0 halftime. James Ward-Prowse scored a nice goal, and Luca Digne own goal. Done up. And Southampton is going through a bad form, but Everton loses 2-1 to them. They beat Arsenal, and they tied Manchester United. Southampton has talent. They can get you if you fuck up.
They are 3 points clear of relegation, and Everton are firmly in the middle of the table with 30 points. Moving along, Watford hosting Burnley in a 0-0 draw, and Burnley can feel hard done in this game. They should have had a goal disallowed, I believe. They should have counted. But it's tough out there, man.
That's life being Burnley.
Yeah, but Burnley has quietly climbed out of that relegation zone too, where they were looking to be in a dogfight, but they're still there, only 3 points clear. And Watford being the best of the rest, still, even with that draw, 7th place. Moving along, Huddersfield at home to City. City get the 3-0. Did you watch this game?
A little bit. I couldn't.
City was awful in the first half. This is awful. I mean, they got the deflection from Danilo, and Huddersfield, man, I tell you what, the crowd was, considering you have a team that's about to get relegated, you just fired your coach, and they were cranking. And they came out and I thought they played decent first half.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to go down, but that doesn't mean their fans can't enjoy the season. The problem you have in seasons is when you expect to do better. This was a team that. This was the one team that these guys and Cardiff were expected to really, really struggle, and they're gonna go down. But there's City playing to Huddersfield 3-0 is not an embarrassment at all for Huddersfield. You know what I'm saying?
No, and I say it, and it's a a broken record at this point, but City. The way they defend, just by the nature of the style, you just can't give this many opportunities to teams that can actually convert because, there could have been a couple goals by Huddersfield real quick. But consequently, Huddersfield is not even on that level. They get all 3 points. They stay in the race for the top. They're 4 points back continue to be 4 points back of Liverpool. And that's crucial, I believe, after Tuesday's game. They have Tuesday's game against Newcastle. They follow it up with Arsenal and Chelsea. Should be interesting.
Yes, indeed.
Moving along to the last game, though, which is another fun. It's a good weekend, man. It's a good weekend of fun games. Fulham hosting Tottenham. Fulham should have been up, man. In my estimation, should have been up 4-2 at half.
I should have, but. Alas, they were not. They went into halftime 1-0 down. But
1-0 up, right? They were up.
Huh?
Fulham was up at half.
Yeah, I thought you said Tottenham should have been 4-0 up.
No. Fulham should have been up.
Oh, okay.
They balled out.
Yeah, they balled out in the first half, but their goal came from the striker that Tottenham put in because they have a striker problem right now.
Yep.
He scored, and he currently has as many goals for Fulham as he has for Tottenham at 1. Fernando Llorente. Take a bow, sir.
And Fulham looks like they're gonna. Dele Alli equalizes in the second half with a really nice header,
and gets injured,
and it looks like it's gonna be a draw. Tottenham's gonna be drawn into this race for fourth place, and
Harry Winks
gets a ball from Eriksson, I believe.
George Kevin Nkudu gives the assist, and Harry Winks with the goal.
Boom, boom.
Yeah, man.
There it is. They take all 3 points. They are facing an injury crisis of epic proportions, man.
Before we get to Tottenham, or if we're going to get to Tottenham, I would like to congratulate the good men at Fulham for being the first team in all 5 big leagues of league football to concede 50 goals. In Spain, in Germany, in France, Italy.
I liked Ryan Babel in this game. He was the game kind of changed. He was at Tottenham, and it kind of changed when he went off. Especially looking at the red hair, man, that was the best part.
I think that's the best.
All right, man, that was Premier League roundup. I'm gonna hit you with these big matches from La Liga and start you off with Getafe trouncing Alaves.
Put it on him.
4-0.
The dream is finished for Alaves.
Still maintain their 5th place spot, but Getafe right behind them, creeping.
Yeah, they've only had the 5th place spot for second because they dropped into it. Weren't they in 4th place last week or before
Top of the table at one point, man.
That's what I'm saying. They've been free falling. They're not maintaining shit, but ass kickings. But Jaime Mata, the 31-year-old, and Jorge Molina, I think, was also like a 34-year-old or something, both with doubles. And Jaime Mata also had an assist. So Sebastian Cristoforo with 2 assists. They jumped all over them, dude.
Getafe doing some things here on a shoestring budget. Is every team in La Liga on a shoestring budget outside of the big four or something?
Yeah.
And maybe even not considering Sevilla? Are they on a shoestring budget too?
No, Sevilla isn't because they have a system and they're very profitable. But fucking Getafe held Alaves to 0 shots on target. While at the same time they had 8. So that's how you end up with a fucking 4-0 drubbing.
Well, speaking of Sevilla, they went to the Bernabeu and did nothing.
Yeah, that's common.
That's what they usually do when they go, right?
Fucking assholes. Yeah, Casemiro, a really good goal, and then Luka Modric picked the pocket of a fucking defender and just basically walked the ball in to make it 2-0. But the game was pretty shit.
4 total shots for Sevilla, 1 on target. It's awful.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at Real Madrid, they took 23 total shots and hit the target 6 times. So the ratios are the same. 23 for 6 and 4 for 1.
Yeah. Got to do a little more, Sevilla. And they're kind of like in a free fall, it seems like.
I mean, how much can you do when you have 31% of the ball and like they're just getting ran all over the place and they're taking 23 shots on your ass? Like,
yeah. Damn near already relegated Huesca host Atletico Madrid. Atletico Madrid get 3 goals and take all 3 points.
Atletico Madrid is a team in form right now. Mr. Luca Hernandez started off the scoring nicely, and Santiago Arias and Koke finished it off. They are playing some really, really good football.
We talked about the Betis game and Barcelona. I swear they've been playing Leganes for like 3 weeks now.
Yeah, right?
3-1 though, man. Messi comes off the bench.
Yeah, Messi comes off the bench and scores a nice goal. Dembele opens the scoring with a really nice goal, and in the middle of that, Luis Suarez taps in a goal. So 3-1. This game started with Messi on the bench and Suarez flanked by Coutinho and Dembele. Both played good games. Coutinho missed a sitter, but outside of that, I think he played a very solid game.
Dembele with 8 goals, 3 assists in
and an injury.
He got
injured? The next 2 weeks, yeah.
What'd he do?
He twisted his knee trying to do a move. Like he landed weird.
Word up. So I should have mentioned it in EPL, but either way, I think I did indirectly. But Barcelona stay top. Atletico Madrid 5 points back. Real Madrid 5 points back of them. And Sevilla 3 points back of Real Madrid. Would you say this is the top 4 for La Liga?
Yes, unless
Getafe or Betis.
Yeah, if Betis, ideally Betis sneak up closer and finish off the season with the 2 of them playing against each other, because Betis.
It's the derby.
That's the derby, yeah. And Valencia's right there. Don't forget, but they're gonna fuck up.
Word up. Messi with 18 goals, something sick. Moving along to Serie A.
Yes.
So, big games here. Roma hosting Torino.
Beautiful game. Roma scores mad goals.
Roma almost fucked it up.
Yeah.
Like they've been doing. It went up 2-0 in this game.
Yep. Let them back in. El Shaarawy earned the penalty and then scored the winner at the end of the game. They scored some beauty of goals, and Roma seems to be coming around. They are moved back. They had, but now they're again out of it. But they had moved back into Champions League spot at the end of that game. But with
we'll get to that.
AC Milan winning, they fell out. But you remember 2-3 weeks ago we were talking about how Roma was in 10th place and how they were the most disappointing.
Yeah, that defense is a little leaky, man. They need to do something about that if they do want to secure that top 4.
And they're 1 point out of it.
Inter. Yeah, Inter. Disappointing here at home to Sassuolo and 0-0. What the hell?
Inter has been disappointing for a while now.
Sassuolo, who is home of Kevin Prince Boateng. Rumored.
The man, the myth. Not rumored. He just confirmed. He has signed for Barcelona.
It's confirmed? Are you serious?
Yeah, he just confirmed it. Yeah, he just confirmed.
Oh, man. Apparently, Dembele needs more distraction on the team.
Yeah, and also somebody who could possibly kick his
Back
ass.
him up. Yeah, kick his ass. Yeah.
There's a Kevin Prince Boateng exclusive with Sky Sports. Barca, I'm coming. I'm sad to leave Sassuolo, but it's a great chance. Don't ask me about Real Madrid. It's just the past. I only want to focus on Barcelona, and I hope to score at Bernabeu for the next Clásico.
Okay, bro. I like the confidence, to say the least.
Yes.
I gotta mention the Frosinone hosting Atalanta game because.
1 second.
Oh,
sorry.
go ahead.
Only Loic Remy, who has played for 11 teams, will have played in more different teams than Kevin Prince Boateng at 10 for a current player in the top 5 European league.
Oh, wow. No doubt. Well, welcome to the Blaugrana. But moving along, Frosinone hosting Atalanta, and that deserves mention because Atalanta put up 5 on them, and Duvan Zapata put up
Zapata, like shoes.
Put up 4 goals.
Yeah, they put it on him. Atlanta with Papu Gomez running the midfield is fucking wicked to watch.
Smacked him. Another game that we might actually, in hindsight, we probably should have looked at this game over the Napoli game. But Fiorentina and Sampdoria.
This is the game of the week.
3-3. That was fun.
The only reason we didn't pick this game is because there wasn't a winner in it.
Yeah, Fiorentina went up 2-0 in this game.
They went up 2-0. Luis Muriel with a really good solo goal sets them up 1-0.
Yeah, man. And that gets equaled 1-1 at halftime with Gaston Ramirez. And then Luis Muriel, abuses the entire team. I'm sorry, but I forgot to mention the red card. There was a red card early on. Fernandez from Fiorentina. Man, awful foul, dude. Awful foul. But Luis Muriel, does the whole team.
The Maradona's them, like how Maradona did in the 86 World Cup against England. He takes it the whole fucking field. After he scored his first goal, he did not celebrate because he had started his Europe career actually at Sampdoria.
Yep.
But the second time, after he pretty much raped the whole team, he couldn't help it.
Yeah.
It was you're just some bitches now.
Cagliarella brings it back late in that game.
While
with
getting
a penalty.
fouled.
Yeah. Oh, well, he put them up with that. So he hits a penalty in 81. In the 85th minute, he hits a lovely turn, gets dragged to the ground as he's scoring the goal. That dude is a baller, man. I like.
He's 36.
He's old as hell. Yeah.
Yeah.
35.
Okay.
No, whatever. Just for.
Yeah, I'm not
measure.
off by a lot.
But-
Ask me again next week, it'll probably be 36.
But the very end of the game, Gemon Pezzella.
Yeah. Brings them back, and this up and down game that at the end of the day nobody really deserves to win, and everybody should get a point out of. Ends 3-3.
10 men with Fiorentina take a point. Shout out to Simeone here, I do not have him listed, but I know he scored a goal, man. No, he had the assist, I think. Oh well. Either way. All right, moving along. You're right. That first goal was nice, and I thought it was Simeone. It was Muriel.
Yeah.
Moving along, man. We mentioned Napoli. AC Milan plays today away to Genoa.
1-2-0.
And they took that 2-0. Barini with a goal and Suso with a goal, and that puts
Them in fourth.
Yes, it does. Juventus, the top, 6 points clear with a game in hand. They play later today. They play in 8 minutes. And Napoli second, Inter third, 6 points clear of AC, who are now in fourth, 1 point back of Roma, 1 point up on Roma, who are 1 point up on Lazio, who are 1 point up on Atlanta, who are 1 point up on Sampdoria.
We're 1 point up on 1 point.
On 1 point. Man, it's tight. It's tight there. Serie A outside of the top 3 is a race. Word up. Move on to the rest of Bundesliga. And hit you off with Friday's game. They come back to action with Hoffenheim hosting Bayern Munich. And Bayern Munich smack them around in the first half, and then all of a sudden, Hoffenheim gets back in it.
Kind of. Yeah, they did get back in it, but Bayern Munich looked like they came back from the vacation, whereas Hoffenheim is still on winter break. And they put up a stand for a second, but then it was done.
And it's amazing to see Bayern Munich, as bad as they played part of the first. I mean, they're 6 points back, and I wanted to ask you earlier, but
they were 3 points back at the end of the game because Dortmund played later.
Dortmund didn't play.
Hilarious.
So I wanted to ask you here, if you were a betting man, what would you do? Who would you put your money on, man? Bayern or Dortmund?
Right now, I would hold.
No doubt.
But if I was a betting man, I'd be a stupid betting man, and I'd probably be betting Dortmund just because that's what I want to see.
Apparently, Sir Solomon has suffered an in-game injury and has immediately caught the flu in the middle of the show. Moving along, man. Bayer Leverkusen.
There's only one person else here, so there's only one suspect in this attempted assassination.
Bayer Leverkusen hosting Mönchengladbach. Mönchengladbach take all 3 points, man, with an early goal, first half goal from Alassane Plea.
Yeah.
Just how players play. And I mean, this is a game statistically dominated by Leverkusen, and they should feel hard done not to take any points from this. But when you have 22 shots and only one of them is considered a big chance, what you gonna do? What you gonna do? The great wizard Dusseldorf got all 3 points. Anyway, we mentioned the Leipzig, and then Schalke hosting Wolfsburg, and Schalke take all 3 points from a surprising Wolfsburg team so far.
Yeah, Schalke seems to get the act together a little more than they were earlier in the season.
Absolutely, man. They're 7 points back of a Europa spot, which actually Wolfsburg occupies. And so the top of Bundesliga looks like Dortmund, 6 points clear of Bayern, who are 3 points clear of Mönchengladbach, who are 5 points clear of Leipzig. And then there's Frankfurt and Wolfsburg in the Europa spots. Hoffenheim doing their up and down thing. And very extremely briefly, because there's barely anything to talk about in a league that barely even plays these days. That would be League 1.
Mention the Paris score and then don't talk about any of the rest of it because that explains the league.
9-0.
Thank you. That was France for you this week.
2 hat tricks. Ridiculous, dude. What in the hell?
The Paris Globetrotters against a bunch of Washington Generals for the rest of the league.
They're 13 points clear with 2 games in hand. Like 62 goals scored. The second most scored goals in the league are 37 goals by Strasbourg. Like, it's just absurd.
Yep.
Anyway, that's League 1 for you. It's over.
Yes.
All right, man. Moving along to the forward section. Let's not do that one. Let's do this one. Word. On that note, singing the blues. Going to give you some awards. Going to give you some upcoming. Get the fuck up out of here so Sir Solomon can go rest up in this Arctic vortex. Dude of the week goes to
Diogo Jota
for his hat trick on Leicester City and his last second game winner.
Yes.
Take a bow, sir. You have joined an exclusive company of of players.
Some have been selected just for their names.
Absolutely, man. Goal of the week goes to
Luis Muriel, slaying his old team.
Man, like, you need to look that goal up if you haven't. My man pops it up in the air, swings around him, and does the
slaloms down the fucking field.
Ridiculously. Cool
just
finish.
Embarrassing everybody.
Cool as the other side of the pillow.
And he gave him the key to the city after that, I think, because he just he broke down all barriers and defenses.
Word up. This is an interesting week of football because it's a lot of cup shit. Got Sevilla Barca in midweek. The Copa del Rey.
Yes.
You have Chelsea Tottenham on Thursday in the EFL Cup.
Yeah, the return.
You have Arsenal United in FA Cup on Friday. And then you have City Burnley in the FA Cup.
Oh.
Yes. Other games of note are AC Milan hosting Napoli, and Lazio playing Juve, Girona playing their Catalan brothers Barcelona, Marseille and Lille. It's a week.
football week. Exciting things going to happen.
Yeah.
Watch it be the most unexpected game that brings you the most entertainment. So tune in to many games, people. Waste your weekends, please.
Yes. I'll be tuning into FA Cup for sure, man. With
I will not.
with bated breath.
Fuck up cup.
Oh man. Yeah, man. That's the episode. Untuck your jersey, man. Diving for Glory. This match is in the books. Episode 22, Season 2. Thanks for tuning in. We appreciate anyone who takes the time to check us out. Don't forget, Diving for Glory posts every Monday and every Thursday during Champions League weeks on iTunes, YouTube, and divingforglory.com. Hit subscribe. Follow us on Twitter and Facebook at Diving for Glory. Rate us on iTunes. Let us know what's good. Until next week, of course, Yola Solomon.
We out.
Yo.
Diving. Diving.
What do you think of condoms?
Diving. Diving. Diving.
He's not a man. There's nothing more to say.
Diving.
Glory.